He says after getting the peace deal in the Middle East, Trump probably feels invincible again. Do you think it will refocus his efforts on trying to end the Ukraine war now?
Well, Jane, I mean, he said a couple of times yesterday that he would do that. He said, we'll take on the Ukraine war next. And he said it on the flight on the way home again, in a sense, spontaneously in answer to a question. Because President Zelensky of Ukraine, is in Washington this week. He's there on Friday. And I think out of that may come another initiative. So, I mean, President Trump says that. And he said in the past, I thought the Ukraine war would be the easiest to solve, and it isn't. And the fact that we could have told him it wouldn't be. And he said, 53 times, according to CNN, he said, I'll solve it in 24 hours. And he said it 53 times on the campaign trail. So it wasn't just a casual comment. It was part of his campaign. I will solve it in 24 hours. And now he says, I was only speaking figuratively. So he never said that in any of the 53 occasions, but he says it now. So, yes, he's discovered that the war is quite tough to solve. And he does say he's going to turn his attention to Ukraine. And one of the things he might have learned from the Gaza experience is that if you lean on somebody, he leant on Netanyahu really hard after the 9th of September, the Israeli attacks on Hamas in Qatar. That seemed to change his view of Netanyahu. If he leans on people really hard, he does have real power. And the question is, this is what Zelensky keeps implying, why don't you lean on Putin in the same way? You never have so far. You've tried to induce Putin, but inducing Putin never does anything other than make him more resolute. So why not lean on him? And in a way, I think the conversation that they're going to have at the weekend will be about, the weapons that we need in Ukraine and what, Mr. President, look what you can do when you really try, Donald, I think will be his message to President Trump.
So do you think Trump, be emboldened, really? I mean, he's not a man, he's not a shrinking violet in the first place. No. He's pretty bold in his dealings with them. But do you think he might have personally learned a bit of a lesson? That
he might have, yeah.
From what's happened with Netanyahu?
Well, I hope he's drawn from the success that he's had so far, and it is a conditional success, we should say. But let's not be churlish. It is a success, and I hope he's drawn from that two things. One is that you get something out of leaning on people if you're the president of the United States, and he leant harder on Netanyahu than Joe Biden was able to, even though he likes Netanyahu more than Joe Biden ever did. And secondly, that allies really are important. That you need to mobilize other countries. You can't go it alone in the way that he assumed and said that America would just go it alone on just about every issue. So using the allies and leaning on Putin might actually have a different effect. And it looks as if he's interested in doing that. But every time he comes to the point of leaning on Putin, he backs away.